Hi, I'm Linda Krantz Smith. This is my family's business, Krantz Furniture, from 123 to 131 North Main Street. This building has been in my family since 1958. We've been very proud to be the stewards of this building and have put a lot of hard work, money, blood, sweat, and tears into this building. I believe in historic preservation, but I also believe that unless buildings are used, they're not doing any good. The canal went through in 1825, and the first part of this building was built in 1827. Going back in time, this actually would have been all the storefronts that faced the canal. A lot of commerce was done out in this area. I know that there was a weighing station somewhere in my building because I found an old ledger that was there. If you look closely at the building, you can see where different doorways were taken out or windows were taken out, but this was your main area of commerce facing the canal, and it went all the way, the building went all the way to the back of my parking lot. And so this was Main Street. I'm not sure exactly what happened to the rest of the building, but I suspect it wasn't a fire. I suspect that it was knocked down. But the remaining part of it is the only part of the commerce for the canal that's existing at this time. When my father purchased the building, it was partially a great big huge used furniture store. The guy that owned it, his name was Jack Ballister, and from what I understand, Jack Ballister liked to buy things, but he never sold anything. There was also a diner, I think in the 40s and 50s, that was called Donahue's in the north part of the building, and there were always apartments up on the second floor. My dad was born in Batavia in 1928. He was drafted for World War II, and when he got out, he really wanted to go to school to be a doctor. But because of the GI Bill, it was too long of a wait to get into medical school, so he ended up going to Simmons Mortuary School and became an undertaker. And that's when he came to Albion and worked with McNall's. Back in the day, funeral homes and furniture stores were one and the same. So it was kind of like a natural progression of things that he would have ended up in the furniture business. At first, the first floor was rented out to a used furniture store. There was a diner. There was a pizzeria, actually, in the north part of the building. And then he started buying rental property. And when you own rental property, lots of times people leave a lot of stuff behind. So he had barns and all this stuff that was just piled up in it. And my father decided, well, I've got all this stuff. What the hell am I going to do with it? So he decided to have like a downtown garage sale, used furniture sale for a couple of months to just get rid of the stuff. And he did so well that little by little he expanded into the different parts of the building as they became available as people moved out. Also, really fun fact, in the mid-70s, this building, the south part of it, was a head shop. Oh my God. Things like that just didn't go over real well in Albion in the mid-70s. And it was a bunch of hippie guys who sold record albums, incense, leather goods, and God only knows what else. But it was a pretty popular place for quite a few years. My father was a real lover of antiques, and so was my mom. And so I got to learn a lot from both of them. My mom passed in '82, my dad passed in '92, And that's when the building and the business came to me. We've done a lot with this space since it came to me. One of the biggest things, and it was really scary because it was a structural thing, was in 2011, this roof, 3 floors up, it was a really large roof, and it was held up by 3 trusses. And the trusses were original, and they were starting to fail. And we could see where the building was pulling away from the trusses. Never a good thing. So we knew that it had to be fixed. And so we replaced the 3 trusses that held up the entire roof with 47 new trusses. It took 47 new trusses to do the work of 3. Angel Javier Sr. organized the whole thing. It was really scary because don't forget there's people living upstairs, and that roof had to be removed. The trusses had to be removed. Very small space. I was fortunate enough to have a crane operator who was really like a surgeon. And so as he was taking out those pieces of those old trusses, and there were guys up there that were chopping down the old trusses with a whole bunch of chainsaws, he would come and replace them. Believe it or not, I think they started at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We were here until 12:30 at night and managed to have that roof tight with tarps, just the plywood replaced, but with tarps by 12:30 at night. This is part of the building that I'm particularly proud of. About 5 years ago, we decided to open up this space, and as we were taking down the wall, we came across this lovely raw brick wall. If you take a look at the trim, that is actually part of one of the original trusses. Angel cut it down and made it into trim. So I think it's kind of nice that part of the original building, it's now on display. You can see that they didn't use a whole lot of nails. There was a lot of real craftsmanship and joining those pieces of wood together. I think it's great. This is actually my favorite part of the building. It's very distinctive with the rounded cornice up there, as well as the oak that I had put in 2000 and the brick on the bottom. And yep, every 3 years we have to refinish that oak and put some marine poly on it to keep it looking good. And we just did it last year. My sons Ryan and Jack did it, and they did a great job. Like I said, this building went all the way to the back of the parking lot. There were several different businesses in here. I think the biggest one must have been a grain and feed store, because until we did some extensive remodeling, whenever it would be damp out, or I could actually still smell like grain and animal feed from the front windows. And when you think about it, it really strikes me that this building was actually built more than 30 years before the Civil War. And this is the 3rd floor of the building that I believe at one point was used for meeting rooms, because there's a lot of old podiums that are just sort of left in the other rooms. And I also believe that the Orleans Republican American was up here at one point printing papers. The downstairs space is now totally occupied by my furniture store. I've gone to all new furniture in here. We sell mattresses, we sell bedroom sets, we sell dining room sets, living room furniture, recliners, anything that you would see in the big box stores, but maybe something a little bit more unusual and better pricing and We deliver locally for free. When anybody comes in and they're looking for a mattress, it's really almost what you would call an emergency situation. People don't replace mattresses unless they're truly uncomfortable. And I think statistically, they only go to 2 or 3 stores before they buy because they have a problem that they want solved. And so I'll ask them a little bit about what's the bed like that you have now? What did you like about it at first? What don't you like about it now? Do you have back trouble? Do you prefer something firm? Do you prefer something cushy? And I always try to urge people to lay down and see what they feel like. It's really hard to buy a mattress over the internet unless you're super not fussy and don't really care what you get. But trying anything in person is always better. And the same thing is very much true for recliners. People don't realize that a recliner might feel good to you, but they're not really sure why. And there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's got to support your neck. And number two, it's got to support you around the ankles. People really like power recliners right now instead of just the 3 basic positions of a traditional recliner. A power recliner's positions are basically infinite, and you can adjust the head, you can do a lumbar adjustment, as well as your legs. So I always try to push them towards that way. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're worth it. We have dining room sets as well. Lots of times today, people aren't looking for that real formal special room for a dining room set with 9 chairs and a buffet because homes aren't set up that way as much today. Some are, but not very many. Mostly it's open plan. So people might be looking for any variety of sizes. They could be looking for something that can fit 15 people around it. Yeah, I can definitely do that. They might be in a small apartment and have really limited spaces. And I have some 42-inch drop leaf tables that are probably, I'm going to say like maybe 24 inches with the leaves down. I carry Liberty furniture. I carry Jofron. I also have a special Amish company out of Pennsylvania that will custom make just about anything you want. We carry a wide variety of furniture here at Krantz Furniture. Anything from recliners to stationary chairs to regular sofas to motion sofas to sectionals, ottomans, coffee tables, end tables, and anything in between. When people come in and they're looking to upgrade their furniture, I'll always try to take the time with them to ask them, what color grouping are you looking for? What kind of look are you looking for? I think it's important to pick out the frame before you pick out the material to make sure that you're happy with it. I can special order from several different companies. My favorite company, upholstery-wise, actually is Flexsteel. They make a very nice product. They have a ton of different frames and different fabrics. They now have what's called a Live Smart material, where you can actually pour water, coffee, Coke, wine on the fabric, and it beads right off, which is excellent for people with small children or, just everyday life. Life happens. I carry Flexsteel. I carry Jackson. I carry Catnapper. I carry Lane. If you're looking for something special, bring me in a picture of it. I'll come as close to it as I can.